Back in March, I put the Pixel 7a and Nothing Phone 2a through a photo shootout, which unanimously gave the win to Google. It wasn't that close. We could say with complete certainty that the Pixel 7a has a superior camera. But now that I have the Pixel 8a, I think it's time to find out what Google has done to make it a better camera phone for photography. I love mid-range phones, even if they don't have all the bells and whistles that the best phones out there offer. That's why I've captured over 200 photos with the Pixel 8a and 7a with a little help from my colleague to find out what year-over-year improvements, if any, are there with the Pixel 8a. 10 categories, 2 devices, 1 winner. I really hope there's a big difference. As usual, I've looked over all the photos on my computer to get a better idea of their differences. On paper, the Pixel 8a pretty much reads identical to last year's 7a. That's a 64 megapixel main camera paired with a 13 megapixel ultrawide. The only camera spec that's different is the wider 96.5 degree field of view with the Pixel 8a's front-facing camera, a slight improvement over the Pixel 7a's 95 degree field of view. Let me say that for its price, the Pixel 8a takes top-notch photos. But look at these shots of the church door. They look almost identical. Both phones definitely capture the piercing red color of the church door, including the ornate details in the archways, the stonework, and I can even make out the sign posted on the right side. The only difference from what I can see is the slightly warmer color temperature of the Pixel 8a. But apart from that, they're identical. I think this one's a tie. Switching over to their ultra-wide cams, it's again a deadlock when I look at these photos of the church. Their excellent dynamic range performance brings out the details of the stonework against the bright sky and the areas of the church. I also like how they make out the details on the stained glass windows, even in the areas where it's in the shadow. But again, can I see a major improvement? This shot of the tree is an excellent way of judging their dynamic range performance. Nothing really stands out to me again because both phones do nicely to boost the exposure in the shadows, which contrasts nicely with the brighter areas of the scene. This one's a tie in my books, which I'm sort of disappointed about with 3 categories in. In my Pixel 8a review, I said it's the phone I'd actually buy with my own money. And that's true because the last 2 phones I bought were under $500. So far though, I'm not seeing the development I would have hoped for. Their MSRP is the same, but given the emphasis Google has put on AI, I thought I'd see some difference by now. Okay, when I first looked at these colorful beach chairs, I thought the photos looked identical. However, when I look at the shots more closely, I can tell there's a little bit more saturation with the Pixel 8a, especially the orange table set on the left and the magenta chair on the right. Since I do like the pop that the Pixel 8a shot gives off with its slightly more vibrant colors, I'll give it the win here, but really their color science is similar. This is Richard, my colleague in the UK. The selfies he's taken for this may look similar, but the difference here is in the skin tone. The Pixel 7a has a slightly warmer composition and looks a little sharper too. Just zoom into the stitching pattern of his shirt, as well as his scruff and hairline to see how it's just sharper. For this one, I'm giving it to the Pixel 7a. Now it's my turn with these portrait photos. There are hardly any major differences about them apart from my skin tone, which makes my face look shinier with the Pixel 8a. Both do a nice job of isolating me from the background, giving the edges around me that softer touch I look for with these types of photos. This one's a tie for me because it could sway either way depending on preference. Neither phone technically has a dedicated macro mode like on other phones, so you can't get super close to subjects. With these close-up shots of this pink flower, I had both phones around 4 inches away, but part of the challenge is getting to that minimum focal distance. The deeper pink colors with the Pixel 8a shot look better for me, but the Pixel 7a has the better exposure. Details are a toss-up, so this one can also go either way. Neither phone has a dedicated telephoto lens, so that leaves zooming to the main camera and a little help from pixel binning. Details in these images of the church steeple are more smudgy, but that's expected. I can still make out the red color in the flag along with the brickwork around the church, so this one's a deadlock. The high contrast scene of this panoramic shot seems to give both Pixel trouble, which I can tell clearly from the vertical lines that crop up, but it's more apparent with the Pixel 7a. It's still a problem for the Pixel 8a, but those lines are more subdued, and for that reason, I'm giving it to the Pixel 8a. And finally, we come to their low light performance. I want to start off with these high contrast photos with the street lamp illuminating the walkway. They both handle this scene differently, with the Pixel 8a producing the warmer color tones that catch my attention. However, if you like the shadowed areas of the tree in the far background, I can see that the exposure is a little bit better with the Pixel 7a, but it's not enough to make it look better in my eyes. Moving on to a more pitch dark setting, these glass jars on the shelf are shockingly visible. That's almost hard to believe since there's no ambient light directly in the scene. However, it's a close matchup here because both do well to expose the entire shot evenly. But the Pixel 8a seems to look a little bit brighter with the middle jar. However, I don't think this is enough to say it's the clear winner because it's barely visible to the untrained eye. Well, this shootout turned out differently than what I expected. In a way, I'm a little disappointed. Usually there's a meaningful level of improvements, but I can't say there's any here. I was hoping that the Pixel 8a could push out a little better results. However, some of the AI features from the Pro models have made it over to the Pixel 8a, and that can make it more appealing for you. I know it does for me. For example, there's Best Take, which lets you swap faces in photos, Magic Editor, which takes the hassle of editing your photos, and also Audio Magic Eraser, which removes background noise from videos. And like I pointed out in my Pixel 8a review, which is on tomsguide.com right now, it has a brighter screen, longer battery life, faster refresh rate, and a more charming design. All of this for the same price as the Pixel 7a. So what do you think? Are you disappointed like me, or do the AI features make the upgrade worth it for your photography? Let me know in the comments below. You can follow us on all socials at Tom's Guide for on-the-ground reporting and behind-the-scenes coverage, and follow me at John C. Velasco. I'll see you in my next video.